All right, so on the other side of it, the Texans now have Stefon Diggs, obviously CJ Stroud on his rookie deal, and they've got Joe Mixon in the running game, and they've beefed up the defense a little bit. With that said, do you think the Texans are the number one threat to the Chiefs in the AFC?
I think you can make a really strong case the Texans are the best team in the AFC other than Kansas City. So I want to talk about the Texans, but I don't want to forget about the butterfly effect part of this that I said. So you want to know my galaxy brain, like, butterfly effect of the Diggs trade, DeMonze?
What's that?
Something that I now believe the Detroit Lions are going to trade for T. Higgins. So you might say, why? What are the dots there? So the Lions, I think, believe they need a receiver. The Lions are drafting 29. The Bengals are obviously shopping Higgins. They were going to trade Higgins. Or I shouldn't say they were going to trade Higgins.
Did something happen with Amon-Ra St. Brown?
No, but they want a second receiver.
Just wanted a wide receiver to copy.
The Jameson Williams hasn't really worked out the way they had hoped, and they were connected to wide receivers in the draft or whatever.
Room.
Exactly right. No, to have Amon-Ra and T because to be honest, I think they need some help defensively, but offensively, the offensive line's great. Amon-Ra's great. They just drafted Gibbs. They like Goff. Laporta's excellent. The only spot on the offense you really look at is receiver, and then some help on defense for Aiden Hutchinson. Okay, so I think the Lions were planning at 29 to draft a receiver. Well, who drafts at 28? Buffalo. Now Detroit knows, okay, obviously, Harrison, Neighbors, and Odunze are gone in the top 10. After that, you have A.D. Mitchell, you have Brian Thomas from LSU as the 4th and 5th or 5th and 4th receivers. Buffalo is definitely taking a receiver. So now we're down to drafting the 5th receiver. Pittsburgh is a potential receiver team. Cincinnati, if they trade T. Higgins elsewhere, is a potential receiver team. We could be sitting there at 29 and at best get the 5th receiver and maybe get the 6th or 7th. So I think Detroit now is more likely to trade for T. Higgins. So that's a little kind of butterfly effect piece of it. Now to the Texans. I have seen a lot of, oh my goodness, the Texans, this is a blueprint every team should follow. Okay, well, I mean, if the blueprint was draft a quarterback at 2 and hire the Niners D coordinator as your head coach, then the Jets would be in great shape because they followed that blueprint and they're a disaster. Okay? So also the Texans' blueprint of be truly horrific for 3 consecutive years, and in those 3 years go through 4 different coaches before you finally get the right one. And, oh yeah, by the way, pull off an all-time trade heist in getting 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. My point is that part of the blueprint is not really duplicable. You can't really be like, all right, here's the plan, boys. We're going to get one of the greatest trade hauls ever. We're then going to be truly awful for 3 straight seasons to get even more blue chip picks, but not quite awful enough to ever have the number 1 pick of the draft. But the team drafting number 1 is going to take the smallest quarterback who's ever played in the NFL. So we're going to get the right guy at number 2. And by the way, we're going to be able to get the hottest coaching prospect on the market because he's a legend for our franchise who played middle linebacker for us and wants to come save the team he played for. That is not something a lot of teams can follow. It's not like you're in Carolina. You're like, all right, boys, here's the plan. We're just going to be awful for a number of years, and then Luke Kuechly is going to come in and save us along with a quarterback we draft. That's not a plan. But the part of the plan that is replicable, I should say, is if you've got that guy at quarterback, spend. Yes. Right. While he's cheap, go put talent around him. And I think Diggs will be awesome this year. A motivated Stefon Diggs, I think he'll be really good for at least one more year. Age is catching up to him a little bit. But you have Nico Collins, you have Tank Dell coming back from the injury. You have Stefon Diggs. You got maybe the best left tackle in the sport in Tunsil. You're building the defense. Like, I think the Texans are excellent. Excellent. Before this trade, I had them neck and neck with Cincinnati as the biggest threats in the AFC outside of Kansas City. And you know what that means, DeMonze? Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for it.
What does that mean? Because I've got a.
You've got one? Go ahead.
I've got a question for you, but I'm gonna let you finish your thought. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Go ahead. It's bad. Oh, okay, yeah. So, do you think the Prince will ever win an AFC South game again, or division?
South title
division?
Listen, this offseason not been good for my guy.
Right.
They're not gonna lie. I don't like the moves the Jags have made. The Jags had the #1 pick. And took Trevor. The next year so bad, got the #1 pick again, and they've squandered the whole thing. They're out here signing Gabe Davis to $13 million a year. Trent Baalke keeps getting jobs and keeps being terrible. So yeah, I mean, I think Trevor's awesome, but I think that right now they are not the favorites in their own division. That's for sure. I agree with that piece of it. It's not good for my guy to have this Texans team and CJ in his division. There's no way around it. But to be fair, you're supposed to have at least 2 excellent quarterbacks in each division. The AFC East right now doesn't, and for all this trash I talk on, trash is the wrong word, truth I tell about Josh, he's obviously an excellent quarterback. I don't think they have another excellent quarterback in that division, but the AFC North has Lamar and Burrow. The AFC West has Mahomes and Herbert. The AFC South, it's fair for them to have Stroud and Trevor, but that's not what I was going to get to. What I was going to say is this. So we had Brady Manning. Brady Manning was the thing, right? And then, a couple years into Mahomes' career after he won the MVP, and shout out to Pete Sweeney for doing the screenshots of all of these exact conversations over the last 5 years on TV. But we got Mahomes Watson. Is that the new Brady Manning? And then Mahomes annihilated him in a 24-0 playoff game, down 24, ended up, I think winning 51-31. And then, his career kind of went askew after that, crossed him off the list. Then, Lamar, unanimous MVP. Lamar beat Mahomes in the regular season. Mahomes-Lamar. Is that the new Brady Manning? And then Lamar had his own postseason struggles, seemed to be over him, and then lost to Mahomes in the playoff game, cross him off the list. Then it was Mahomes-Allen. That's the new Brady Manning. And then Mahomes played him 3 times in the playoffs, beat him all 3 times, crossed him off the list. Then it was Mahomes-Burrow. Oh my God, Burrow actually won a game. And then Mahomes beat him the AFC title game, and unfortunately Joe Burrow got hurt and his team missed the playoffs, crossed him off the list. We're about to get Mahomes v. Quarterback X version 5.0. Mahomes-Stroud. Is that the new Brady Manning?
I don't know if you can cross Burrow off yet. I don't know if you can cross him off yet. He did beat. Okay. Like the Chiefs beat them the last time. But.
Yeah, listen, and it's hard to go undefeated, against a team in the playoffs the way the Chiefs have with the Bills, and so credit to the Bengals. That's fine. I think that Burrow is now all of a sudden coming off a lost season and is probably going to not have T. Higgins, but we'll see. Like that. My point is Stroud's the next man up. But as I told you guys over the last few years, and I will say again, it is not a Brady versus Manning scenario. It is a Tiger versus the field scenario. And you can pick which of these quarterbacks is Vijay Singh, which one's David Duval, which one's Ernie Els, and which one's Phil Mickelson. But it is not Brady Manning. It is Tiger versus the field. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.